Hi friends, welcome back. I wanted to get on here and just share some events that have happened and some updates and just give a shout out to God for how good he is and how much better his plans are than ours. As you know, we've been trying to sell our house for about 6 months now, and we were starting to think that maybe we would have to rent it because we felt like we needed to get out to Mexico, but it wasn't selling. And initially we thought, we put our house on the market in October thinking that we would be out in Mexico in the winter. At the time, it felt like that's what needed to happen because the man who said that volunteered to come and build a ropes course for us there couldn't go in the summer or in the spring. He could only go in the winter. That's his slow time. And he was so generous and so kind. He said, I'll come and I'll build it at cost. You know, I won't charge for my labor or anything else, just for the materials. And we felt that was such a blessing. But we needed to do that either January, February, something like that. And the reason we wanted a ropes course was because my husband is needing to quit his job here. His company doesn't let him work internationally. And so we thought we need some kind of revenue stream. And he was really worried about going out there without some sort of plan, some sort of way to make an income, right, for his family. And if we had a ropes course, we could maybe attract some tourists or some things, find some way to make some money. He was worried about going out there without a plan. Just wanted to have something that he felt he could rely on to make some sort of income for his family, which is normal, right? So we thought, okay, we'll have to get out there this winter so we can get that going. I was a little nervous about getting our ropes course started right away because we weren't sure. Like, we hadn't been out there to really assess the needs of the people and what would do well there. And my kids weren't excited about going in the winter because they had classes and concerts and things that they wanted to do before the end of the school year, right? They wanted to finish out their school year, which is also normal. And I had commitments as well for the school that I was doing here in Utah. I didn't want to just leave the people. I felt bad just saying, okay, well, I'm out, you guys figure it out. So there's a lot of things that were hard about leaving this winter. But I knew that, the people I worked with were amazing and they would make it work, and that the kids would be okay, that even though it'd be hard, they could do hard things. And so we just thought, well, just put it on the market and we'll see what happens. We'll do our part. So that's what we did. And the house didn't sell, and it didn't sell all winter. And as it wasn't selling through the winter, we started to wonder if there was another way or something else that we were missing. And incredible miracles started to happen. I had a friend, she's the friend now, she didn't know me, but she had heard about what we were doing, and she asked if she could throw a charity bazaar, and she invited people to just donate their creations and their talents and just come and share them, and then whatever proceeds were made, that they would go to our cause, which was just so amazing that someone would do that. And then we had many friends donate, people we didn't know. I had a couple people say that they just felt inspired. One said that she was doing laundry and she just had this thought that she could help us with what we're doing, and she made a donation. And there was another person that said that they were looking for somewhere to help, and they also made a donation and felt inspired that it should be to us. And so this just reminded me that God is aware of what we're doing, and he's behind it, and he's inspiring other people, as I knew he would. I knew it had to happen that way, that we couldn't do this on our own. Somehow people would be inspired to help in whatever way they could with their talents or means or different ways, and that's what has been happening. And so as we went through the winter and things were happening like that, we realized, like, we could just go out and build like a volunteer dorm with these donations that have come in, like a small one. We could live in it and just start really small, and from there to start working on the land, meeting the people, assessing the needs, seeing where God wants us to start, and move from there. Just start somewhere, start small. I felt like this was an important principle. That's something I see in the scriptures a lot, is that as long as you start, God will lead you along and help you know where to go and what the next steps are. So we thought, well, we could do that because of these people's incredible generosity and their desire to help. We could just start small and go. So we thought, well, we'll rent the house. If it doesn't sell by the summer, we'll just rent it out and we'll go. So that was the plan, and we were starting to head in that direction. And then last week, someone came and looked at the house. They want to look at it again. They made an offer, which is a good offer, and we accepted it. And now we're in the process of, the inspections and all of that stuff. I know it's a bit premature to say, okay, it's all said and done, because sometimes offers fall through for one reason or another. But there's a lot of really cool things about this particular timing that I wanted to share. And if it doesn't work out, I'm sure God has something even better in store, because that's just how he is. But they wanted to close on May 22nd, which is super awesome, because that is a week after all of our classes are finished. The kids debate, their tournaments, our school, all the different things that we had going on, we will be able to finish all of those. And that was a great desire in their hearts, and God helped them be able to have that. And I think that's beautiful. It just shows his love for them and for the different things that we wanted to do. And another cool thing is that we were able to hear a little bit about the people, and they seem like really good people, which I really wanted to have good people come into our house, to be good neighbors to our neighbors. We have incredible neighbors, and I just am grateful that they'll have a good neighbor here as well with these people. And I just feel really, really grateful for God's timing and how he works things out for the best always. And with all that gratitude, there's also some mixed emotions, right? Like the day we got the offer, there was a lot of like, oh, it just feels more real. I had one child that was a little bit angry. He's like, why are you accepting it? We don't want to go right now. We want to stay here for the summer. We have all these things we want to do this summer. And that's understandable. You know, it's hard to change. And there's a lot of things that we're going to miss, and a lot of people and family. And so there was some difficult things from the reality setting in, and the kids started kind of taking it out on each other. The next day I was starting to feel a little bit like, okay, I'm going to explode if I don't get out of the house. Like there was contention, and my feelings were kind of tender, and other people's were as well. And so I thought, okay, I wanted to get outside, but it was so windy and snowy, and I didn't really want to go out there. But a couple of my boys asked if I could take them to the gym to play ping pong. So I thought, oh, I'll run around the track while they do that. That'll help me get some of these emotions out. So we went to the gym, and one of my friends was actually the receptionist at the desk. And she said, oh, I heard you got an offer on your house, or that you accepted it. How are you feeling? And I said, well, there's a lot of mixed emotions for sure, but we're grateful. And she said, well, you can work those out today. And I realized I almost burst into tears. I was like, yep, that's why we're here. And I went upstairs, and there was just a lot of close to the surface kind of things that I needed to work through. And so I put on the song that had just come up as a recommended song on my playlist. I wanted to listen to it, but as I would start running with it, my mind kept wandering, so I would rewind it, and then my mind would wander, and I'd rewind. I was like, I really want to hear the song. It sounds like it's a really good message, but it was really hard for me to focus. But after probably half an hour, I finally got to hear the whole thing. I was able to pay attention, and I loved the message so much. The song is called Sunday is Coming, and it just talks about how the Friday, right, when Jesus was crucified was so hard, but it's okay because you know that Sunday's coming, that things will get better. And I'm not saying that this offer was a hard thing. It's obviously a blessing, but the things associated with it, the hard parts of the blessing, are also going to be okay. That's a message I just really needed right then. And so since then, we've been kind of up and down. I think there's a lot of gratitude from all of us, as well as some, like just last night I was in bed and just, I think 3 a.m. awake thinking, okay, what are we doing? We're going to go out in the jungle and there's nothing there right now. And it's going to, I mean, I see a vision of what I want it to be, but it's right now it's just trees, and this is going to be hard. And so some of the fear starts creeping in, right? And I just have to remember, I've read many, many biographies and many stories in the scriptures where you start with nothing, right? The people start with very little means, and somehow, because of their willing heart, God makes it miracles. Miracles happen, and he makes it incredible. And I know that to be true, and so I know he can do that for us. That's why we're going, because if I was relying on what we know so little. We're really underqualified for all of this, but I know that he knows everything, and that he will teach us along the way and bring people and resources into our path, so that we can learn and see and do, and have this be what he would have it be, in order to help build his kingdom and help those kids that he loves there in Mexico be able to grow closer to him and feel of his love. So I'm excited for that, to start in that work here in a couple of months. So that's where we're at right now. We're just, a lot of the kids at my house are sick. We're just trying to get over these sicknesses, and then hopefully we can start kind of figuring out how to get rid of the rest of our stuff that we didn't sell. And packing up, we want to probably just have every person take 2 suitcases, and we're just going to fly out there. And so we got to just get rid of a lot of things and figure out what's most important to keep. I want to start a vlog so that we can kind of journey or document this journey. It's really awkward for me, so I keep thinking about it and not doing it, but I know it's something that we ought to do. We want to look back on it, and we want to share the learning experiences with other people. So I will get going on that soon. And so, be on the lookout for that. I'm also updating the website, getting it ready for what we're actually doing that's more accurate. Right now it's pretty outdated from all the different changes that have happened. So that's been a project that's been keeping me pretty busy, as well as getting the program more refined for I just want everything to be on autopilot and ready to go, so that when we leave, I can just concentrate fully on the work there and not have all these things on the back burner that I've been meaning to finish for some time. So lots to do. We have a couple months to get it done, and I'll just try to keep you updated along the way and share some of the things we're learning. One of the things I've been pondering on through all of this experience is something that my daughter and I talked about a few months ago. We had just had our general conference for our church, and our prophet had said that, well, he's mentioned 4 ways that we could keep up our spiritual momentum. And the 4th one was that we need to seek and expect miracles. And my daughter said, the next day or a couple of days later, she said, Mom, how do we seek and expect miracles? I feel like that's almost like asking for a sign. Like, I don't know how to do that. And I thought about it, and what I said was, well, I think it means that you find something that you really want to do in your life, something good, and then you say, okay, God, I want to do this, and you trust him that he's going to help you, and you expect to see miracles as you move forward in that process. And I think I'm beginning to feel a little bit more of what that is, and I'm starting to see it more in my life, and that is such a cool blessing, such a neat thing to see, because God takes our very small offerings, right? Like I was just reading this morning that story in Matthew chapter 14, I think, where Jesus asks his disciples, like, what do you have? Like, there's all these people that were hungry, and there was way more than they were capable of feeding. And they asked Jesus, what are we supposed to do? We got to send them away. And Jesus says, what do you have? Figure that out first. Go find out. And so they ask around, and they find 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes that one young man was willing to volunteer, right? He was willing to give his all, even though it was so small. And God said, that is enough. And he multiplied it and made everybody be able to eat. Even the young boy who was filled abundantly, right? Everyone had more than enough, and there was plenty to spare. I think that's such a principle. If we just turn to him and say, this is all I have. I know it's small, but I trust you to make miracles with it, to make it work out for the best and the things that we need to learn and how we need to grow. And so I know that as our family goes through this, that relationship that we're going to be building with him as we try to figure things out is going to be worth whatever price we're paying, the little sacrifices we're making here. And if that's the only miracle that happens, I think that will be good enough. But I hope to see more that will benefit other people as well. So I think that's it for now. I know things are going to be hard as we get all of this set up, and as I'm sure obstacles are going to come and things are going to be difficult. I think the vlog will help us kind of try to keep it humorous when things come up that are unexpected and that are difficult. So that's another reason that I want to try to start one of those. I think that'll make it seem a little bit less heavy, But I look forward to seeing what God has in store and to see the miracles that he will create with our little small offerings. So thanks for coming along on this journey with us, and we'll talk to you soon.